Right now, somewhere in the world, someone is paying $12,000 for a seat at a soccer game. Not a typo. $12,000 for one ticket to one match. And while that's happening, millions of other fans are doing something far more dangerous. Clicking on a link they found on Instagram, typing their credit card number into a website that looks exactly like FIFA's official page, and hoping, just hoping, that the ticket they just bought actually exists. Most of them will find out the hard way that it doesn't. This is the story of the World Cup 2026 ticket crisis. And more importantly, the laws that almost nobody understands, the protections almost nobody uses, and the mistakes that are costing fans their money, their trips, and in some cases, their entire vacation. Let's get into it. First, let's talk about why this is happening at a scale we've genuinely never seen before. The 2026 World Cup isn't just big. It's the biggest World Cup in history. 48 teams, 104 matches, spread across 16 host cities in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. And the demand for tickets has been frankly insane. During the last Men's World Cup in Qatar, FIFA received 23 million ticket requests for just 3.4 million available seats. Read that again. 23 million requests, 3.4 million seats. That's not a ticket shortage, that's a feeding frenzy. And where there's a feeding frenzy, there are always people ready to profit from your desperation. Here's where it gets interesting from a legal standpoint. FIFA has actually launched its own official resale platform for this World Cup. But here's the twist almost nobody saw coming. There are no price caps. FIFA uses something called dynamic pricing, which means ticket prices shift in real time based on demand. And on top of that, FIFA charges both the buyer and the seller a 15% fee on every single resale transaction. So if you're reselling a ticket, you're paying a fee. If you're buying one, you're paying a fee. FIFA gets paid either way. This is completely legal. There's no law against a company setting its own pricing model for an event it owns. But it's exactly why some of the cheapest looking deals you'll find online are actually the most dangerous ones. Because legitimate tickets are expensive, scammers know that desperate fans are hunting for a bargain. And that gap between what a ticket actually costs and what a fan wishes it cost is where the entire scam industry lives. So now let's talk about what's actually illegal, because there's more legal protection here than most fans realize, and almost nobody is using it. Let's start with the obvious one. In California, scalping tickets near a stadium isn't just frowned upon, it's an actual misdemeanor crime. If someone walks up to you outside the stadium gates and offers you a deal on a ticket, that interaction itself may already be illegal under state law. Up in Canada, Ontario has something called the Ticket Sales Act, which regulates how businesses are allowed to sell tickets in both the primary and secondary markets. It specifically targets deceptive pricing practices, things like hidden fees that get tacked on right before you check out. If you're heading to a match in Toronto, this law is quietly working in your favor. Down in Mexico City, there's a law called the Civic Culture Law, and it specifically prohibits offering or facilitating ticket sales above the authorized price in public spaces. So if you're walking near a stadium in Mexico City and someone offers to sell you a ticket on the street for triple the price, that's not just a bad deal. That's against the law, and here's one that should genuinely surprise you. In Florida, state statutes require ticket resale brokers to guarantee a full refund if an event gets canceled. If you're denied admission, or if the ticket simply never gets delivered. That's not a courtesy. That's not a "we'll see what we can do." That's a legal requirement. Now here's the part of this story that's genuinely alarming. The FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center issued a public warning that cybercriminals are actively spoofing FIFA's official website, creating fake pages that look identical to the real thing, just to steal your personal information and your money. The Bureau has already identified dozens of these copycat sites, with web addresses designed to look almost exactly like the real FIFA domain. Some have already been shut down. New ones keep appearing, and the FTC has issued its own warning too. Fraudsters are using social media ads and posts to funnel desperate fans toward these cloned websites, where they sell tickets that simply don't exist, or worse, sell the exact same seat to multiple different people who all show up to the stadium expecting to get in. So here's the real question. If you've already been scammed, or you're worried you might be, what does the law actually let you do? This is where most people give up. They assume once the money's gone, it's gone. But that's not always true. If you paid using a credit card, you have real protection. Credit card companies allow you to file what's called a chargeback dispute if you never received what you paid for. If you paid through a bank transfer or certain electronic payment methods, the Electronic Fund Transfer Act and a regulation known as Regulation E protect you in specific cases of unauthorized transfers. If someone gained access to your account without your permission, your bank is legally required to investigate and, if appropriate, refund your money. But here's the catch that scammers are counting on. If a scammer convinces you to pay through Zelle, Venmo, Cash App, a wire transfer, gift cards, or cryptocurrency, your legal protection drops dramatically. These payment methods were built for sending money to people you trust, not for protected purchases. Once that money leaves your account through one of these apps, getting it back becomes exponentially harder. This is exactly why scammers push so hard for these specific payment methods. It's not a coincidence. It's the entire strategy. So if there's one rule to remember from everything we just covered, it's this. The payment method you choose isn't just a convenience decision. It's a legal decision. It determines whether you have real recourse if something goes wrong or whether you're simply out of luck. If you do get scammed, here's what actually matters. Document everything immediately. Screenshots of the listing, the seller's messages, any payment confirmations. Scammers often delete their posts and block you the moment they realize you suspect something, so capturing evidence fast is critical. Then report it. In the United States, that means filing a complaint with the FTC at reportfraud.ftc.gov. In Canada, it's the Competition Bureau. In Mexico, it's PROFECO, the Consumer Protection Authority. And for anything involving a spoofed website or stolen personal information, the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center, IC3.gov, is the place to file. Reporting might feel pointless in the moment. It's not. These reports are how authorities build cases against organized scam networks, and your report could be the one that connects the dots. Here's the bigger truth buried in all of this. The World Cup ticket crisis isn't really about soccer. It's about what happens when massive demand collides with limited supply, and how predictably that gap gets exploited by people who understand the law better than their victims do. The scammers aren't smarter than you. They're just betting that you won't read the fine print, won't know your rights, and won't slow down long enough to ask the right questions before you pay. Now you know the laws. Now you know which payment methods protect you and which ones don't. Now you know exactly where to report it if something goes wrong. If you know someone hunting for World Cup tickets right now, send them this video before they send their money to a stranger on the internet. It might be the difference between watching the match from the stadium or watching it from their couch, out a few $1,000s, wondering what went wrong. Subscribe to World Law News for more laws that actually affect your life, your money, and your rights. Because the law only protects you if you know it's there. We'll see you in the next one.